Dave, it's time for our Mariners Thanksgiving special on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app, and I couldn't be more thankful than having this guy joining us. He's one of my all-time favorite people and now one of my favorite managers and everybody's favorite manager. Mariners skipper Dan Wilson is with us. How are you, man?
Doing well. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, and just enjoying the offseason so far, and starting to turn our attention towards what's ahead in 26.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, by the way. But how do you feel at the end of your first complete season as a manager? Had to be exhausting in a different way than as a catcher. Obviously, physically it was probably different, but mentally, did you feel like, man, I need to decompress, I need to get away? Were you exhausted? How'd you feel when it was all done?
Yeah, I mean, I think, having been through it as a player, there was a little bit of familiarity with understanding what it might be like. But, again, you don't really know till you've gone through it. And definitely a baseball season's very long, and certainly, you feel a little fatigued at the end of the year. This year, though, I mean, I think with the playoff run, everything that we had in terms of the postseason, it was sort of energizing. It was invigorating towards the end, and so you kind of got that second wind, and really got excited about what was going on, and so coming down from that, and coming down from the end of the season, the postseason, obviously a huge surge, and then sort of a disappointing or a tough way to end the season so abruptly in that Game 7, but. Obviously a year that we build and we take a lot of positives from, and so yes, kind of unwinding from it, and as I said, trying to get through the holidays here, and then you start to really turn your attention to what lies ahead for you in 26.
Dan, do you have kind of like not an exit interview, but do you talk to everybody before they spread out and go home, and what's that process like?
Yeah, it's kind of strange, with baseball, especially, at the end of the year, you get on the plane when the game's over, you get home, and guys are packing, and it goes pretty quickly. But guys kind of tend to scatter and go back to home very, very quickly. Did touch base with a few guys as they packed up, and we'll continue to touch base as we go through the off season here, and make those connected as a staff to reflect on the season and those kinds of things. But it's definitely one of those years where you take a breath, you look back, you reflect, you feel what you went through, and then you try to start making adjustments and changes and corrections to the things that you want to do differently as you go forward. And that's kind of the phase we're in at this moment right now.
Is it hard not to? I mean, being a competitor as a player, that carries over into being a manager, obviously. Do you beat yourself up over things within the season or specific games, like what ifs? Man, if I would have done this instead of that, or we would have went this way instead of that way. Is it hard not to do that, or is it pretty easy to move past?
I mean, of course, that's part of the game, right? Is trying to learn from things that didn't go the way you wanted them to, and understanding different situations and taking what you can from them. So yeah, there's obviously learning curves that come with that, and trying to get better from those situations. But also it's baseball, and that there's another season, there's an 162 ahead of you. So it's time to get ready for that, and so that helps you move on. So I think as we have kind of done in a pretty positive way here, reflect on the things that we want to do differently as we go forward, and then start to get to work on those things, and get ready for what's ahead of us. And what we know, we're going to have a very similar team. Obviously, signing Josh Naylor was huge for us here early on in the offseason, and putting that team and getting our team in place. We know we're going to have a similar team, and it's a great group, and it's a great team environment, and these are all really positive things to continue on to in 26.
Well, you mentioned Josh, and I think the thing we didn't really realize, like, what a great base runner he is, and how good he is defensively, but just the X factor of what he brings to the team. Tell us a little bit more about him in the clubhouse.
Yeah, Josh is one of those. He's a unique player. He sees the game very differently, and he sees very small details that a lot of guys don't see.
Yeah.
And that really allows him, I think, on a couple of different levels. One, which is to be that team leader. He's able to sort of pass that on and talk about it with the guys and help to use that to the team's advantage. And then he's able to use it as a personal advantage. We saw that so often on the bases. I mean, it was no mystery that Josh Naylor was going to try to steal a base, and he still was able to, in some way, figure out how to do that. And it's taking advantage of little things because he sees the little things. And I think his leadership, what he brought to the clubhouse, his mindset going into the game, his intensity going into his games, all really served us very, very well. And so to get that kind of player back. And in the fold again, and actually, be able now to incorporate that even more, I think will be just awesome for us as we move forward.
Had you ever seen anybody between first and second jump up in the air and intentionally get hit with the ball to break up a double play?
I mean, unbelievable. And that's the kind of, intensity. When I went out to argue the play, I said, you're going to tell me this guy intentionally did that to try to get his head in the way of the throw? And certainly, he was trying to get in the way of the throw.
Yeah.
But, again, that's the kind of mentality. That's the hard-nosed way that he plays. He only knows how to play this game one way. And, that's what you love about Josh Naylor. I think that's what Seattle loves about Josh Naylor.
Were you surprised, in all seriousness, just how quickly he fit? That's all I could say about him as we watch him. I'm like, the guy just fits. He just does. He fits the team. The fan base immediately fell in love with him. It was an immediate. I mean, he wasn't here that long in the regular season. The majority was in Arizona, and it was just immediate. There was just this bond. He seemed like he bonded with that clubhouse. It seemed different than other guys that have come over at the trade deadline. Not that they were bad or anything, but it just seemed so immediate to me. Did you feel that in the clubhouse?
Yeah, no question. And I think having him come when he did, at the trade deadline, I think we were all welcoming some change at a trade deadline, and so that was part of it. But certainly, it really just falls on, who Josh is, number one. But who that group of players is, number two, in that clubhouse. And, it's like I've said the word special. I don't know what else to use because they are a special group. They are, and that's one of the features that they have is that one of the characteristics is that they're welcoming. And they brought Josh in when Josh came into our club. They brought him in the clubhouse and it was almost immediate, like you said. What a great fit. I think the fans were able to sort of sense that and it carried over to them as well. And obviously Josh had some early success for us. And you talk about all the big hits that he had, all the big plays that he had. It didn't take long for Josh to make his name known here in Seattle. And we were a much better club for it. And really looking forward to having him here now for the next 5 years.
Well, Bob, it's been like 8 or 9 minutes, and I haven't mentioned Cal Raleigh because
that's a record.
I like to wedge him into football conversations as well, Dan.
Any conversations, Dan.
But I mean, I just him being a catcher, you were a catcher. Is that the most connected that you've been with a player in your time coaching?
I mean, yeah, you look at Cal just from even when he first signed here and just his development through our organization and coming through, and then coming up this year and having the season that he did. It's just remarkable what he was able to do this year, and to see what he did and the consistency with which he did it. There's so many things we talk about with Cal, but his ability to contribute as much as he did on both sides of the ball. The amount of games that he was able to catch behind the plate and stay durable, the number of games to DH outside of the catching and still remain durable, the at-bats from both sides of the plate, whether it was right-handed or left-handed, just the quality of his defense, the quality of his game calling, everything that went along with the season that he had this year is impressive. And I think Cal, again, it's all born out of the desire in his heart to win and to help this team win, help this organization win games. And having him here long term, having a Josh Naylor here long term, you know that this is going to be a team that's going to want to win for a long period of time. And so, having Cal this season and seeing what he was able to put up is phenomenal. So it's no mystery to me why that name keeps coming up for you guys, for sure.
How tough is it as a manager to find the moment to sit him? I mean, you can't play every day, especially at that position. You know better than anybody how physically demanding that spot is, yet he's such a huge part of your offense. I would imagine it was a struggle for you to go, man, we got to get him rest. We got to give him a full day off. But I think he only had 3 full days off the whole year. So is that something you wrestled with throughout because he's never going to say, take me out. He's going to want to post every day. So is that something you kind of had to wrestle with?
Yeah, no doubt. And something that, we have to sort of look at going forward. Obviously, you're right. Not a lot of complete days off, and players need those. They just need the mental break. They need the physical break, especially behind the plate. We did try to work in as many DH days as we could, because that is helpful, certainly mentally and physically on catchers. I think the thing that was amazing about Cal was just his durability this season, and understanding that he could take it, and he was able to really take that playing time and continue to be consistent throughout. And you're right, he's not the kind of guy that's going to ask for a day off. You kind of have to be the eyes and ears for him in terms of that. So that is definitely something as we move forward, especially next season. We're going to definitely be careful of that and not want to try to do too much, but it's difficult because he is such a big part of that lineup, and it's such a big part of the pitching staff and what we do on defense as well.
Hey, Dan, I remember one time in a post-game presser, you said, and this isn't so much about Eugenio Suarez, but just in general, you said his superpower is that he's the same guy every day when he comes into the clubhouse. But just, and a lot of people are, whenever we say, oh, this guy's a great guy, and people are like, who cares, can he play? But I mean, those things are really important. You tell me, how important is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in baseball, we talk about consistency, as being a trademark, and when players that are consistent, you know what to expect from them on a daily basis on the field. I think the same can be true about people as well. And as we know, baseball is one of those games, because of the length of the season, because of the amount of failure that's in the game. Like, there are ups and downs, and this game can take you emotionally to a lot of different places. And I think there are a fair number of guys that have learned how to ride that out and how to be consistent, even though there are the highs and lows. And I think that is such a big part of it. And again, consistency on the field, consistency off the field, consistency with the person that you are is important in all of that. And I think that's a huge quality. And you talk about Gino, he's that same high energy, bring the good vibes every day kind of guy. And when you can count on that, it just lifts everybody else around you up and gets you ready to play on a daily basis too. So I think those kinds of players are so important on a club.
Hey, Dan, for you personally, and I know you always try to deflect and be humble, but just indulge me for a moment. Being a finalist for Manager of the Year in your first full season as a manager is a big deal, is a huge accomplishment, which I hope you're very proud of. But what was that like? Is it something you even entered your mind towards the end of the season? We heard whispers about who the finalists may be, but just take me through that and what that was like to be up there. And, we were watching you on MLB Network when they had all 3 of you up there and when the vote was coming in, but just that whole process, what was that like for you?
Yeah. Obviously it's not for me. It's not anything that I was trying to attain in any way. I think when you look at an award like that, especially, and it being my first year, the thing that I was, just kind of blown away with this year was just how much of a group effort this really is. And when you look at, all the people that pour into this organization, all the people that pour into the team, you realize very quickly just, how important everybody around you is. And that's really where the success lies is in everybody's team effort. And you look at, you look at the front office and the job that they do putting teams together. You look at the coaching staff and the impact that they have on players every single day. You look at the support staff and how they support the coaches and the players as well. And then you look at the players themselves and just how hard they fought all season, the heart that they played with. Again, it's everything combined. And it was interesting. I heard one of the finalists, I believe it might have been Pat Murphy, who won in the National League, but his comment was, this is an organizational award, and I really believe that. I mean, no manager, sets the tone in any different way. It's just this group effort that comes together, and I think that's exactly what happened again this season. It's really how I've looked at it all along. This is an organizational award. This is a reward that everybody who has taken part in Mariner baseball should feel a great deal of pride in, and this will continue to be that way. That's how we do things here, and I think that's why I think the players in that clubhouse have such a great bond, and they understand that as well.
He was humble and deflected.
Of course he was. Hey, Dan, as far as I'm not sure how aware you are of the media and stuff like that, of who gets paid attention to. I mean, obviously Julio and Cal, but as far as a guy that kind of flies under the radar, that's sort of underappreciated, maybe a bullpen guy or something. Who were some of those guys this year that were instrumental to your winning?
I think every team has those guys, and that's really you have a team full of those guys a lot, and when teams that have success and get into the postseason, you see guys really step up that begin to really make their mark on their career. And I think there were several guys. You mentioned the bullpen. You talk about Gabe Spire and what he meant, to our bullpen, and being for most of the season, really, or a big chunk of the season, being our only left-hander down there. Really relied on him quite a bit, and what a season, what a response he had to that. Of course, Bizzardo with the season he had and some of the situations he was in, and how we handed him the ball. Another guy you could throw into that conversation. But really, again, I think the beauty of a good team, and we talked about this a lot with our guys, is that different guys find moments to step up, and it's a different guy every night. And I really feel like, especially during our stretch, especially late in the year when we were kind of backs to the wall, we won 17 of 18. It was really a different guy every night. One night it was an offensive player. The next night it was someone on defense or a pitcher. And you saw contributions from 1 to 9 in the lineup. It just was, you talk about Leo Rivas, another sort of unsung hero, didn't spend a lot of time, with the big league club, but came up with some huge hits, especially down the stretch. So it was really a team group. It was really a team's, effort from top to bottom. And that's where all the guys, stepped up at different times. And that's when you have a really consistent winning process. And that's what these guys did this year all season long.
Dan, I was telling Justin that this past season was the most fun I've had ever covering this Mariner team. I mean, I was just beyond invested and living and dying with every pitch, every moment. But it was just so much fun. Are you able to have fun in the moment? I mean, you're ingrained. You're looking at every moment of that game. Is it there during the moment, or is it something you have to reflect on later, maybe after the game or maybe after the season? Go, wow, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a little bit of both, I think. I think in this game you got to have fun, as we talked about. It's a long season, and so keeping it fun, keeping it, a little bit lighthearted from here and there, really makes a difference. But I think there are also times where you're really locked, and the fun comes when, like you said, when you sort of look back and realize what you've been through. So, but this game at the end of the day is fun, and it has to be fun. And we've got a lot of guys in that clubhouse. We got a lot of coaches on the staff that really like to have fun and keep it loose. And I think when you can do that collectively, then you can go out and play and have good success on the field as well.
Seems like there's something about Seattle fans. I don't know if it's like a sense of maybe defiance or something, and it just brings everybody together. And yeah, I feel like they're kind of stubborn a little bit, which I love about them. And I think that kind of all adds to, their sort of mania for sports. And what would you say about the fans this year and how supportive? How much did that help the team?
I mean, it's immeasurable. I was really touched, Josh Naylor and his press conference the other day after he signed, and just how much credit he gave the fans, and what a great place this is to play, and experiencing it now from a player's standpoint back in the day, and then now as manager, you really see how important and how incredible our fans are and our fan base, and seeing them come out the way they did all season long to really keep us energized. I mean, T-Mobile Park it was so loud there, especially during the postseason, and you just don't see that everywhere. And to have that, to know that they are behind you the way they are, to give you the energy that they do every single day, it's exceptional, and we're lucky here in Seattle. So it's great to see that the support that they brought this postseason, and that's our goal, is to continue to bring those postseasons back here to Seattle because they deserve it, and they continue to be a big springboard for us as we get closer and closer.
I think a lot of that noise was this guy over here.
I was loud. I was emotional, Dan. There were games. I was on the verge of tears. It was amazing. I should remind people, by the way, single game tickets for the 2026 Mariners season are on sale now. You can visit mariners.com/tickets to reserve your spot at some of this season's biggest games, including Randy Johnson's jersey retirement on May 2nd and the Mariners' 50th anniversary weekend, August 7th through the 9th. You can get your seats today at mariners.com/tickets. Did you have any of those moments, Dan, where, like I said, I was welling up? I think when Gino hit the grand slam, when Polanco with the walk-off in 15. I mean, there were just so many moments as a fan that it speaks to how much it means to you as a fan. But you got to keep your composure. You're the manager. But did it ever get to you? Did you ever get chills or maybe get a little choked up?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely times where, you kind of, you sensed we were getting close to winning a victory, whether it was, clinching the West or clinching a playoff spot. And you kind of just took a step back for just a moment and kind of soaked it in and heard the crowd. And, it makes you emotional when you think about, just what this game has meant to this city. And so, you definitely, there are times when you can do that. They're very few and far between, because, you have a job to do. There's things to focus on. But certainly, again, it's these fans are so, amazing and have been so amazing to Mariner baseball over the years. And, just really a tribute to them and what they have brought to this city.
Dan, I know you're a big family guy. So during the off season, do you take a vacation? Do you kind of decompress, get away, from everything, or what's your process?
Most of our kids are older and grown, so they're not in the house, but certainly trying to get away a little bit and sort of recharge. Get the mind straight, but like I said, there is a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and you can't take too long. It's a process where you have to get started and start thinking about where things are headed next year. And when you get into the postseason, it kind of shortens that off-season time quite a bit. And we got the WBC now on the other end, where it's going to kind of bring spring training a little bit quicker. We have certainly started already, and that's the exciting part, is that plans are in the works and things are starting to happen as we get ready for another season, and our guys are ready to go.
Hey, Dan, what's the biggest thing you think maybe you learned in your first full season that you didn't get in those 34 games the previous year? You're able to sort of dip your toe in the water initially, and then you get your first full spring training and everything else. Is there something you walked away with going, man, I wish I would have knowing that at the beginning of the year? Wow, I didn't realize this was this way. Is anything that stands out to you in the first full season?
I mean, I think the thing, and I mentioned this a little bit before, but just how much, how important the group around you is, and how much you rely on people to help you along the way. And the baseball has become so technical now, and there's a lot of information that needs to get relayed, and things that need to happen on a daily basis, and we have such great people that do that. Knowing, you kind of got a taste of that in my first stretch, and then this year you really see it again from beginning to end in a season, and just how important all that stuff is. And everyone is just so dedicated to doing their job and to doing it well. And that's the thing that's most impressive to me, is just the group of people that we have and the relationships that have been built over the years. And it really is a great group of people that come to the ballpark every day and want to win and bring championships and postseason baseball to these fans.
Dan, when did you know that you were going to be a big league player, or you had a chance to be a big league player? How old were you?
I guess I was, probably in my early 20s, my first, sort of major league spring training, first or second spring training, where you get a chance to get in there and play a little bit regularly, and you realize that, you're in a position where you can compete, and that's a really good feeling as a player, knowing that you belong in a certain place. And from there, you just continue to try to get better and better as you go, and you try to learn things as much as you can and apply them to your game. And, you hope that those things continue to take off for you.
Hey, Dan, as far as going into this season, and again, you got that season under your belt now, you know what, I guess, more to expect as far as spring training, how to work with guys, get them ready for the season, and in building a roster. How much input, how much say do you have? I mean, I just kind of pictured like Jerry and Justin going, all right, here are 4 names we're looking at for third base. Here, what do you think? Who do you like? What do you like about these guys? Is it collaborative in that sense, in terms of this is how we're going to address the holes on the team or the openings, or is it more that you say, well, I'm going to work with what they give me and we're going to do our best with it? What's your role in sort of forming the roster?
Yeah, I think, Jerry and Justin do such a great job with that, and they also do such a great job of collaborating and bringing other people's opinions in. And like I said, it does take everybody, and they are great about it. But certainly they know the players so well. They understand the players well. They have been around. They've been doing this for a really long time, and the rosters that they've put together have been so solid. And this year, again, not only putting the roster together, but then finding pieces at the trade deadline to really fill in some gaps. And they did such a great job of it. But as we start looking forward now, again, getting Josh Naylor is huge, and starting there, and they do such a great job, and they do a very collaborative way in which they go about it, and again. Really excited about what lies ahead here for Mariner baseball, and excited to get started with 26.
Are players today essentially pretty much the same as the guys, except they have more technology and there's the internet and everything, but
more money?
Yeah, that too. But I mean, are they at their core pretty much the same type of people than when you played?
I mean, I think in general, yes, but I think there are a lot of different issues that they have to deal with that we never had to deal with, and I think a lot of that stems from, the immediate attention, the social media, all the things that are out there. That just wasn't there quite as much when I was a player. I can remember the year that the Mariners, finally had 162 games that were going to be on TV. And remembering and thinking like, wow, that's a lot. You're never going to be able to make a mistake that someone's not going to see, because every game's going to be televised. And right. It's crazy now when you see that. We kind of crossed that bridge 30 something years ago, and now just the amount of attention, the amount of focus on each game, and these guys aren't, they have to deal with a lot. There's no question, and we didn't have to deal with that, and so. That's certainly something that you think about and talk about with them, because it is very different.
Again, one more reminder for everybody out there. Single game tickets for the 2026 Mariners season are on sale right now. You can visit mariners.com/tickets to reserve your spot for some of the season's jersey retirement, guy that Dan knows very, very well, on May 2nd. And then Mariners 50th anniversary weekend, August 7th through the 9th. You can get your seats today at mariners.com/tickets. Dan, all we can say is congratulations. What an awesome season, man. That was so much fun. I loved every moment of it, and being that close, I think you got a better sense than anybody of just how thirsty this fan base is, how invested they are. Cannot wait for spring training. We love you, man. Thanks so much for taking the time, as always, and look forward to seeing you in Arizona at spring training.
I really appreciate it, guys. And thanks to you, and thanks to all the fans in Seattle. It is a baseball town, no question about it. And they definitely showed that again this year. And like you said, I'm really looking forward to 26 as well.
Thanks, Dan. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, man.